As we move beyond the book of Acts and the rest of the written New Testament, we see the development of the church throughout the Roman world. There were 5 major centers of Christianity. First was Jerusalem, which is where the church started, and then at Antioch, where they were first called Christians, Alexandria, the largest group of Jewish people outside of Israel, and where the Septuagint was translated into Greek from Hebrew, and then the centers of Roman power, Rome and Constantinople. After Constantine the Great united the country under his rule, he moved his capital from Rome to what was then Byzantium, then was renamed Constantinople. We know it today as Istanbul. And it was from there that the leadership and official headquarters of the church remained until the fall of Constantinople in 1453. After that time, the Third Rome, Moscow, took on the mantle of the official leadership of the church. And so as the Ottoman Empire fell, the Ottoman Empire was the empire that took over Constantinople, the different regional and cultural and linguistic groups formed their own separate Orthodox congregations. The Greek Orthodox, Serbian Orthodox, Ukrainian Orthodox. The way the Orthodox family is organized is much like the board of General Motors. You've got the Metropolitan in Constantinople, who is the chairman of the board, but all branches of the family have equal votes. What remained after the headquarters moved to Constantinople was Rome. And within about 150 years, Rome fell. And as the western part of the Roman Empire fell into disuse and decay, the church in Rome was left without any official government oversight. And so it developed differently than the remaining church left in Constantinople. In fact, the Roman church is governed much like we would see with Microsoft. Bill Gates owns it, and he runs it, and his vote trumps everybody else's. And so the Pope is now in control of what goes on with the Roman church. That system remained largely until the time of the Reformation. There was growing tension between East and West, and eventually in 1054, the Eastern Church and the Western Church split into 2 separate organizations. 500 years after that, the Reformation began. There had been prior reform movements, but they had either been co-opted into the Western Church or they had been pushed outside and considered heretical. And then it was the day before All Saints' Day, of course we know that's the day we celebrate New Orleans football team, that Martin Luther nailed the 95 Theses to the chapel door, inviting the church to a theological discussion on the abuses he saw with indulgences. That sparked the Reformation. It's now 500 years old. And from that, other groups started developing. After Luther got the Reformation going in 1517, Ulrich Zwingli's movement gained momentum in Zurich, Switzerland. His began about a year after Luther, and Zwingli began what's now the Reformed branch of the church. Out of the Reformed branch, we're going to see the Presbyterians develop with John Knox, who's going to take Reformed ideas to Scotland in 1558. John Calvin is going to join into the movement and take it in a different direction about a dozen years after Zwingli begins the Reform movement. And it's out of Zwingli's students that we'll see the group that will start Unit 2. But that's enough for Unit 1, to see the backgrounds and the formations of the earliest groups that we see.